Information ethics tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm free. I'm going to be here in the afternoon. So I have another short talk on ethics of nuclear technology. So we are going to do this first, and then the issues on information ethics. I have a long slide on privacy and data protection, which are important topics in information ethics, and we are going to do that tomorrow. So we are going to talk about nuclear technology, which ties in with various talk that we have just heard. So let's go.
Let's go.
So can you say a good part of the scheme? Yes, sir.
So people can see me on Skype, right?
It is okay now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So here is the outline. Maybe you can see it, right? Not so clear. There are salient issues in ethics of nuclear technology. So this topic is kind of the key issues and which lie at the heart of ethics of nuclear technology. It's an old topic now because nuclear technology, as we know, has been with us for a long time, since the end of World War II, as we all know. But after the accidents, the issue in nuclear technology has come up to people's awareness and people's discourse. The focus will be how the technology could be of real benefit to the majority of the people. And then these issues are not entirely related to nuclear technology per se, but they are very much related because we are in Thailand, right? And we are from Asia. The big issue for us is on technology transfer, especially when we talk about nuclear power plants and the use of nuclear technology in a number of applications. So we are talking about the transfer of technology from the place where the technology is developed, mostly the West, right? Western Europe and the US. And then when the technology is transplanted, imported to a country such as Thailand, what kind of problems can we expect, and what challenges are there in order to successfully transfer the technology? And when we talk about technology transfer, we talk about capacity building in the same breath, so to speak. The two issues go together. In order successfully to use the technology that has been transferred, we need a number of people who have the capacity to use the technology successfully. And all kinds of interesting phenomena occur when people like myself or like most Thai people get in touch with technology. The technology kind of get transformed into the cultural world or cultural horizon within the new environment where technology is transported. And creating a partnership and network of people is also important. So these two are key issues in technology transfer. And these are parts of the talks about ethics of nuclear technology that I would like to focus. We are talking about nuclear technology for peace. We are not talking about nuclear technology for war. There is a big ethical issue about war, as we all know. Whether there could be a just war. Just war meaning, war in which we are justified to fight And there could be, according to most philosophers anyway, a justification for war, especially when your country is attacked by a foreign power. And in most cases, the country being attacked is justified to defend itself. Otherwise, countries will just attack each other. But we are not going to talk about that, especially in the context of nuclear technology. We will focus ourselves on technology, nuclear technology for peace. So a peaceful world needs a peaceful mind, and that is kind of almost a cliche, some kind of statement that has been repeated over and over. The mind cannot be peaceful if the environment remains unjust. So this shows the connection between the mind of an individual on the one hand and the environment in which he lives on the other. So if the environment, and by environment here I don't mean only the natural environment, I mean social and cultural and political environment, especially political environment. If it's unjust, then it's hard to find a way for peaceful minds to develop. So the two have to go together. So what I say here, the environment includes the physical and the social side. So hence sharing and being. Sharing means you are connected with others. Okay. From the document, we don't have the document here, and I forgot what document I'm talking about, because this, is also recycled. So, but in any way, these are the topics that are related to the talk on nuclear technology anyway. We have justice and equity, a human rights-based approach, application of ethical principles. So what appears to be lacking is the emphasis on the fact that a peaceful world needs a peaceful mind. So I think we all understand these topics, because they are like broad topics that are applicable not only for the ethics of nuclear technology. So how can we create peaceful minds? Well, I don't know if there's anything that is related to nuclear technology in particular. Here. Okay. So physical and social environments and the mind always go together, as I said. Since we need to start somewhere, why don't we start at creating global justice? And it's easy to talk about global justice, but it's very difficult to implement because it requires not only collaboration among countries, but some kind of international government that sovereign powers in each country agree on. The United Nations could be the key organization in securing both global peace and global justice. But as we have experienced, the challenges lie in not in the broad documentation or broad ideas, but in how those ideas are implemented in specific areas. So this means looking at the world as one piece where nation states are all subject to the same principles and order. I think there are some words here which are missing. Let me see. a lot of them. How to reduce the size of the font.
Home.
Home.
Home. And then the size.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with this version. Let me do this. Okay. So this was missing, so we can see it now. This means looking at the world. Let up one more.
Different.
Sharing and being compassionate to one another. That's why I was confused at first because the words were missing. To one another is essential. Okay. What appears to be lacking is the emphasis on the fact that peaceful world needs peaceful mind, of course. Global justice. This means looking at the world as one piece where nation states are all subject to the same principles and order. And this is what I take to be a key issue in ethics of nuclear technology, because I focus on this talk about the aspect of nuclear technology that concerns international relations. But if we talk about ethics of nuclear technology in general, there are many issues, right? There are safety issues when you use nuclear technology for peaceful purposes. Radiation has been used. Perhaps most of us know this already, in preserving fruits and vegetables. Especially in Thailand, they do that quite a lot. You have fruits and vegetables, and you kind of bathe them in some kind of radiation, and they last longer than normal fruits. Very tiny amount,
Is it harmful?
Some kind of
No. Use gamma rays.
yeah, some kind of very small amount of radiation.
Never know that. Never know that.
There's confusion between radiation and nuclear contamination.
Yeah,
Radiation is like the rays from the sun. It causes sunburns. Too much radiation can actually burn your skin. Contamination are little alpha and beta particles that can either be fatal, beta particles can be fatal if you get them inside your body. So by using radiation, it essentially kills all the bacteria in the fruit. It makes it last quite a bit longer because the bacteria is what interacts with the fruit and causes it to spoil.
right. Thank you. The fact is that we in Thailand have been using that for decades now, and it has proven to be quite safe. But that's another topic within the area of ethics of nuclear technology, especially in the context of peaceful use of the technology. That is one area of application. The other area, of course, is to use nuclear power to generate electric power. And that is a big issue. I have not mentioned about those topics related to nuclear power plant in this slide, but we can certainly talk about that. I remember I told you yesterday that Thailand has not allowed nuclear power plant in the country. Still, we have not allowed. Even though we have been talking about this issue for decades. many countries. I remember participating in a UNESCO meeting, I think at the office on Sukhumvit Road, where a number of delegates from many countries who have embassies in Thailand, they come together and talk about policies and ethics of nuclear power plants. I remember a delegate from South Africa, I think Daryl was there too.
Yes, I organized the meeting.
Yeah. He was very much an advocate of nuclear power plants. And I talk about precautionary principle and the idea that we should be careful, we should be cautious and so on. And he came up with another principle that he talked about security and the fact that nuclear power plants do not emit all these carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases as you would have if you use fossil fuels. But mostly he focuses on energy security, which of course is a big topic in Thailand too, but still we have not touched upon the use of nuclear power plant. So the principle here, I talk about the whole coming before the parts, meaning we take care of the whole first, and not part before whole, the whole as in John Rawls. And I think I should spend some time talking about this. This concerns the principle of justice, a basic issue in political philosophy. What I have in mind here, is that you look at the world as one piece, as a whole, where nation states are all subject to the same principles. So the interest of the whole, in this case, we are talking about international relations. So we're talking about the interest of the whole world, or the globe, or the planet Earth. And we take that as kind of primary. And we believe, or at least I believe, and I am arguing, that the interests of each nation states, Japan, China, South Africa, India, Thailand, and so on, depend on the bigger interests of the whole world, or the planet Earth itself. So that is what I meant by talking about the whole coming before the parts, which is quite in contrast with the mainstream conception of justice that we find in philosophers such as John Rawls, because he starts from the parts, and when the parts agree on something, then the conception of justice emerges from the agreement among the parts, meaning the parties coming to a meeting, so to speak. Could be an imaginary meeting. The parties come to the meeting and they agree on some kind of conception of living together that is acceptable to all. And each party agrees to that, resulting in a kind of a social contract. So Rawls belongs to the social contract tradition in political philosophy. The basic idea of social contract is that the parts come before the whole. The whole is nothing in itself. It's not there. It's an imaginary entity. The real things are the parts which come to an agreement. And as a result of the agreement, the conception of justice emerges. Whereas people who belong to the other tradition, like Hegel, for example, and Hegel itself is the most kind of visible representative of this alternative to the Rawlsian view, where he talks about the interest of the whole coming before those of the people coming to any kind of meeting. So according to Hegel, the planet Earth is analogous. You can compare the Earth to an organism, and each country on Earth can be compared to each kind of organs, parts, each part of the organism. So it could be hand, could be leg, or whatever. If the whole body is sick, every part in the body becomes sick too. So that's Hegelian conception, right? The whole is before the parts.
So we are the parasites of the
Pardon?
living organism.
Oh,
We are the
yeah, parasites are, I've not thought about that.
Like germs.
Right. Good question.
But I think fundamentally so oppressive for Hegel theory. Because the whole come before the parts.
Yeah.
That means if it's a state and an individual, the state can suppress.
Yeah, right.
So it's very
That's
oppressive.
the a typical criticism of Hegel's idea. That's a way, a Hegelian can answer you that. But let me talk about the parasites first. It's a good question because what I said tends to go in the way that the organism is a complete whole, right? One entity, indivisible kind of thing. But in fact, the human body is a kind of a place for a countless number of flora and fauna. There is a biologist, he can give you the details. And many of these flora and fauna within our body do not belong to our body or our self or whatever.
Well, actually, we can say they are part of our body. Our body is a construction of thousands of species living in a homeostasis.
Yeah.
So actually, they do belong to our body. Our
But they're
genome.
not part of.
Well, they are part of us.
They are part of us.
Yeah, integral
But
part of
they
us.
don't follow our order. They
Many of
live
the-
their own lives.
Well, many viruses in the genome are part of our
The E.
genome.
coli bacteria in the guts, for example.
But even bacteria in amongst intercellular spaces, they're
Yeah.
all around the body.
So
Yeah.
they're like parasites in our body, right?
Well, we could be a parasite on them.
Vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a peaceful coexistence.
Yeah. But I think the analogy still holds, even in
Yeah.
that case,
Yes.
because imagine, the E. coli bacteria in our intestines, in our guts. They live on whatever we eat and so on.
Helps us develop.
Yeah. But if the whole body die, if we die, the E. coli they will have to find another host. Otherwise, they cannot live, right? All the viruses, all the flora and fauna within our bodies do that. So there's a sense in which the parts belong to the whole, and this is, in philosophy you find this quite often where you have a dichotomy, either or, part before whole
Good
or whole before parts. It's good for in beginning philosophy studies to think about this dichotomy so that you are clear about what's going on. Of course, in real life, if you read what Hegel actually wrote, he does not go in such a way very clearly. He has a way or two, a lot of exceptions, and in the end, philosophical positions, when they try to answer a lot of objections and criticisms, they tend to be very complicated And we keep that for kind of more advanced courses in philosophy. So in any case, if we insist in comparing society with a single organism, let's take it as a human body is a single organism, even though there are trillions of living organisms actually living inside the body. The interest of the whole appears to kind of predominate over the interest of the parts in a way. But according to Rawls, if you would like to compare, make an analogy in the same way as making an analogy with the human body, for Rawls it should be something like a meeting, a town meeting, where people living in the same village come together, and they come together to decide on whatever issues that are facing them. So in that case, the interest of the parts of each individual is more important than the whole that emerges. The whole itself does not even exist, right? What exists are the several people that live together, which come to Alice's question. In the Hegelian conception, the typical criticism is that the state, taking itself to represent the whole, find its justification to repress or even oppress the individuals inside the state, citing the interests of the whole. According to Hegel, the interest of the parts cannot be realized if the interest of the whole is not realized also. So if you are an organism living inside my body, your interest, meaning your flourishing and being healthy and so on, depends on my body, on myself being healthy, right? So in some cases, some organisms within my body have to sacrifice something, have to give something over to the whole organism, to me, so to speak, in order for them to be able to continue living. And that's the most they can do. Otherwise, everything fails. I die, and every organism in myself, in my body, will die too. So that's the response from the Hegelian to Alice's question. Talking about individuals and society, meaning an individual cannot live, cannot survive without the state. That's the typical Hegelian idea. The individual cannot survive outside of the state. So a big part of the very being, very life, the life of the individual itself belongs to the state. As a result, the state is justified as long as the interest of the state is concerned to repress the individual to a certain extent. Because if it represses the individuals too much, some kind of sickness will occur, because after all, the individuals comprise the whole organism also. Things like that. But we are, going way off the main topic of nuclear technology. We are talking about philosophy and quite abstract philosophy also. But I don't know. These slides were written many years ago, and somehow I didn't want to talk directly about nuclear technology, so some philosophy comes out. But now we come back to the topic. How can nuclear technology be of real benefits? So I focus on the benefits of nuclear technology, the relation of the technology in society and so on, which comes to the topic of technology transfer. So taking the whole before parts perspective, this leads to more action toward helping one another, since everyone realizes that they are in the same whole. That includes technology transfer. Okay. And more benefits, for example, capacity building. There is also a need for capacity building. This includes building up the capacity of the less advanced economies to be on a par in terms of technology. But for nuclear technology, this can be dangerous as the technology is explosive. Explosive meaning, of course, very dangerous and very, very powerful, as we have seen in big explosions in Chernobyl, Fukushima, and so on. So is it ethical for a few to monopolize nuclear weapons? We're coming to nuclear technology in military again. Would it be more ethical for all? I mean all countries to eliminate all these weapons altogether. So we can pause and think about this question. There is some justification for countries such as the US, Russia, the UK, all these nuclear powers, for them to remain nuclear powers, to keep hold on their nuclear arsenal. And their justification, of course, their reason, of course, is that they are like, the world police. They monopolize, they have a monopoly on this nuclear arsenal, so that the world can continue to be peaceful. I don't know if this is a good argument. Why peaceful? Because nuclear weapons are so powerful, right? And if you are the only ones in the world that have the nuclear weapons, nobody is going to challenge you. Nobody is going to make war on your countries. And as long as you are kind of the world police and you are kind of virtuous, you are not going to make war. You are not going to drop nuclear bombs on anybody just like that arbitrarily. The nuclear weapon can be a deterrence that could guarantee peace, because if there is any conflict breaking out, the countries being in conflict, they will always fear the nuclear power countries. So they can the war that happens cannot kind of go out of hand. And that is the standard justification that has been put forward for a long, long time. Problem is that it does not seem to work, because after World War II, the US, right after World War II, the US was the only country in the world which had nuclear bombs, right? And then a few years after that, the Soviet Union managed to get their own bombs. A few years after that, the UK and France got their bombs. and then China. And then officially, there are only 5 countries officially recognized as nuclear powers, right? These 5 countries, which are the permanent members of the UN Security Council. US,
Australia,
Russia now,
Russia.
instead of Soviet Union, China, UK, France.
France.
Yeah.
Not North Korea.
North Korea is the unofficial unofficial nuclear power. So are India and Pakistan. They are unofficial, meaning they have, everybody knows they have nuclear bombs, but it's not acknowledged officially by the UN. And the fear, of course, is that nuclear weapons can spread. And I think what can be quite fearful is that not only states such as Iran or India or Pakistan will have the nuclear bombs, but groups of people, non-state groups like a group of terrorists. What would happen if these people get a hold on some nuclear bombs? I don't think it is physically possible because the bomb is, if you talk about traditional nuclear bombs, they are very big and they require a whole lot of money and a lot of specialized experts and scientists and a lot of factories. It is too much for a group of people to do anything with the nuclear bombs. But the threats, I think the threats from these non-state groups of people do not come from nuclear technology, but from other kinds of technology, like chemical weapons or biological weapons. And of course, there are ethics of all those technologies too. In any case, the question still stands here because the threats to our security, to peace, come from many angles. We talk about North Korea, and as far as we know, I think they have been successful. It's my reading anyway. They have been successful in securing some kind of nuclear weapon on their own. Perhaps I'm wrong, but even if they are not successful, they are very close to that. And of course, they have the capacity to launch missiles, across countries to deliver the bombs. So the program of the UN is to limit proliferation of nuclear weapons, so that only 5 recognized members of the UN Security Council can have the monopoly on the bombs. But would it be better if everybody eliminated all the bombs altogether, no bombs anywhere belonging to nobody, all bombs are eliminated.
Is it really physically possible?
It is physically possible if people believe in that, if enough people believe in that, and they continue to destroy one bomb after another until no bomb is left. But it may not be politically possible
To hell with it.
because countries are distrustful of one another.
They will be never.
And the US, I have somebody suggest the idea of eliminating all the bombs on US soil, and then some conservative senator raised this question: what would we got bombed from outside? what do we use to defend ourselves? This kind of thing happens. So the question goes on. So I think this is not much exactly about nuclear technology. It's more about the use of technology in international relations, or in development, technology transfer and capacity building, which are important topics. But these topics are useful, can be used also when we discuss other topics other than nuclear technology. Only this question, specifically concern nuclear technology. So it's 4 o'clock already.
Until midnight, it's fine. They like philosophy.
Okay. Tomorrow I be free the whole afternoon. In the morning I have to take my son to his piano lesson. So, but in the afternoon I'm all free. So from like 1 to 4 in the afternoon.
Do you have any questions for Soraj? Would you like more philosophy?
I think we talk about information ethics tomorrow, and then tonight I will develop a new set of topics of PowerPoint slides, and these are recycled stuff. So
well, it's fresh for us, so very interesting. No?
Yeah.
Which of your countries have nuclear ambitions?
Not Thailand. Thailand is
We have a plan to build a nuclear plant in Rupganj in Bangladesh, and there is some treaties going on that. We have already allotted the land, and they are gonna build a nuclear plant there.
Yeah, you're more advanced than my country. We are very much against no nuclear plant, whatever.
Officially we will be one of them.
Yeah.
Of course, officially.
And I don't know how Thailand will survive because, when the oil is out, when the world runs out of oil, or when oil becomes more expensive again. Now it's going down, but it won't be for long, then it will go up again.
Yeah, I know of a nuclear scientist retired, but he always advocate that we should use clean energy. Why you use the oil pollute and the fossil fuel? And then he said it's a clean energy, and he had been advising the British government to use this clean energy. But
meaning nuclear energy.
Yeah, but I seriously doubt. I 1% I'm not for it. I'm against it. You never know what this energy in the hand of evil people could do. So it's better to be.
Well, from what I heard from the scientists, it's very difficult or maybe not possible to develop weapon grade nuclear technology from your power plant, from your nuclear power plant, because in the nuclear power plant,
The roads are very small.
the key element, the uranium, is very dilute, and you need to concentrate it a lot in order to develop a bomb. So it's very difficult to develop a bomb out of the uranium in the nuclear plants.
But if they continue putting something in a drain, then what will happen?
Yeah.
The water will be used.
That's a big problem because there
This
is
sabotage thing that
nuclear
is.
waste.
The sabotage.
Nuclear waste. It won't go away for like 10,000 years.
A topic I want to add, you just said it's not, there is still no clear answer of any sustainable energy source if the oils run out in the world.
Yeah.
But there are many projects running for renewable energy sources like using the sun, using the wind, using the waves,
Water.
using water.
Right.
There was a funny incident when I was at class 8, level 8 in my school. Our teacher was talking about that if we run out of oil, what should we do? Then I was there and I said, why can't we use water, divide the oxygen and hydrogen and use the hydrogen as an energy source?
Right. Yeah, many people think like that, but problem is it takes more energy to draw hydrogen from water than the energy content of the hydrogen you get. Okay, so you lose energy.
Then
try to extract hydrogen from water, lose more energy than what you get.
Okay.
Maybe Daryl can correct me if I'm wrong. He's a scientist, but because that otherwise he will solve all the energy problems long before if he can get hydrogen from water.
So many waters everywhere. Ice
right.
core is melting.
Right.
Sea level is rising.
Right. Problem is that the hydrogen atom is bound so very tightly with the oxygen atoms in water. It's difficult to draw them out.
We had some projects in school. It was very. We have torch batteries, some sulfuric acid, and two carbon sticks to
extract hydrogen. Yeah. But then it costs more energy to put on the battery and the lead and the whatever. That's why we still have the problem. And in Thailand, we also try to develop big windmill. In Europe, they have a lot of those white windmills, giant windmills. We are starting to have those in Thailand too, in the northeast. But still, renewable energy. Maybe only 1% of Thailand's energy need.
What about the sun? The source of sun?
Yeah, solar panels.
Concentrate the ray
They
somewhere.
use in Bangladesh now. And in the rural area.
Why can't we concentrate the ray as the way, as I know, we vaporize the water in nuclear plants and then use it in turbines to generate electricity. Why can't we generate vapor water by concentrating the sun rays? Instead of nuclear heating system.
I think one problem is that we cannot generate power during night time when there's no sun.
The storage, because sun is always
Right.
daytime.
Always there only during the daytime.
Okay.
But energy need far exceeds the ability of solar panels that we have currently. That's why they represent.
green light effect.
I should have done my homework and give you some data tables and graphs and so on. But they represent a kind of a small percentage of energy needs. Anyway.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Because this project, nuclear project is very expensive and the whole country cannot afford it. So why not the richer country like USA or other country make the project in their country and share it, share the power or share the pros and facilities. They can share it with the non-rich countries like Bangladesh or Nepal. The project is very expensive. All the countries cannot afford it. But very useful. Some parts are very useful to the human.
Okay, Soraj, so
My question is, should share Paris global, share.
Could you put the question again?
so the question was, why don't rich countries develop all the technology and just share it with the poor countries?
Oh, thanks. Very good question. Short answer is that, self-interest. They don't want to lose money doing that. End of answer.
The answer is
They should share it. The globalization, they should share the.
Right, they should do that, but they are not doing that. Because when they do that, they lose money. And, well, sounds a bit sarcastic to talk like that, but they should do that, of course. But if we can convince them, if they can become more ethical, if they see, the interest of the whole rather than their own small part, which is their own interest only, then they should do that. But the fact of the world is that they are not, maybe some parts of the rich countries are doing that, but they are not enough. So we need to continue talking about ethics and try to convince more and more people. Yeah, that's a philosopher's job to do. Anyway. Yeah. It's the same in other areas also. The rich countries are able to develop new products. They have the factories and everything. So they have the means to solve a lot of problems in the poorer countries. But they are not doing that in such a way that the whole world can be changed. Of course, some small aspects are being done, but they're not enough. Yeah.
But they should, they are very much caused because of the global warming. Global warming is the richer countries, their activities is very much affected here. So they should do that. They should share the current.
Right, I agree with you. Right. I agree with you completely. They should do that. Perhaps if we come up with a more compelling reason, so that they see that their own interest, are, tied up with the interests of all others on earth. After all, we all share this same earth, this world together, and we cannot, escape. As of now, we cannot escape this earth and find another home yet. So we share this planet together. So if they don't continue, if they don't start sharing, doing capacity building and technology transfer and all these things that I'm talking about, then their own interest will be jeopardized. And if they realize that, I think they start to change their minds. There's a hope, at least. Yeah.
So this is the job for philosopher to convince.
Right. That's all we can do to convince people. And to use the mouth, the pen to talk and write. Yeah. At least, helping people to start thinking.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
How often are you called to do this kind of background thinking in national policy formulation?
They try to have public hearings. At least in Thailand, we have a law requiring public hearings. So before the government decides on a big project, they are required to conduct public hearings, a series of public hearings to ensure public participation and public understanding. So it's useful, it's successful to a certain extent, but there are criticisms of the way they do all these things, the way they undertake the whole process, because what seems to have happened is that there are kind of old faces. Whenever the government or the nuclear or the energy ministry tries to organize a public hearing, there are old faces, people who belong to a number of NGO groups who specialize in attending these public hearings, and they come up, the same people come up, and they talk about the same old things, and they kind of they become kind of a professional activist in a way. The disadvantage of that is that the real people, people on the street kind of shut out of the process, which should not happen, because public hearing means, the public are invited to participate. So that's a way the process is being done in Thailand. We can, but that's, at least we have a law requiring public hearings.
Okay, any other comments? So public hearings are quite critical. Nuclear technology is always a very hot topic. Okay? So I think we had a couple of papers on nuclear technology. I'm now going to suggest a video for people to watch. Okay? Thank you very much, Soraj. Generated a lot of discussion.